You guys have been patiently waiting for another bus video, and today we deliver. Let's get started. So welcome back to the shop and welcome back to work. You guys are probably back to work after the new year, the holidays and everything, and Happy New Year to you guys. This is 2023 now, and hopefully it turns out to be a very good year. We've got a lot of things to get done on this bus before we can use it, but we have made a few more steps to get closer to that goal. We're going to go over those today. We did get some parts back and some things installed. It's back running again. So without further ado, let's actually take a look at all the progress we've made over the past few days.
Good night. And he is a speck in the horizon. Super rare GMC Cyclone, the fastest accelerating pickup in the world. I mean, it's just amazing to have a 30-year-old truck that's more powerful than most new cars. Oh, don't roll. Don't roll. Oh my God. I see a legend.
I think we might have a legendary estimate. So you guys remember I took the ECM and the TCM out of this bus and I sent them to someone who volunteered to help with the programming. This person said that they could reflash the ECM with Cummins software and change it from 230 horsepower to 300 horsepower, which was an option on these buses. It was just a simple change in software. And now this thing is back running again with way more power. 70 more horsepower, which it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it can help a lot with, like, we're going to tow a small car behind here. It's definitely going to give us that extra oomph we need to maintain speed on the highway. Another thing that he did with the ECM is he deleted out the 60-mile-an-hour speed limiter, which was on these from the factory because they didn't want these buses going 80. Now it can go 80 if it wanted to. And it also has the 6th gear enabled. I'll show you guys that here in a minute, which will definitely help with the RPMs. He also enabled cruise control, which is already installed. Everything's there. It's just not turned on inside the computer. So he was able to go in and turn it on, but I myself have to run wiring for an on-off switch and a set and cancel. So that way I can sit from the driver's seat and actually have cruise control, an extra overdrive, and be able to go 80 miles an hour on the highway, probably 70, I won't go that fast, in a transit bus. That's really cool. So let me go ahead and start it up and let you guys hear it. So it all starts right back up, and I'm very excited about that. And to add to the additional horsepower, which is now at 300, it went from 525 pounds of torque to 650. Way, way more torque. So this thing will be able to pull hard and pull strong, which is great. I'm very, very happy about that. Another update on the AC compressor. You guys remember, you probably saw this in a previous bus video, that I was able to make the clutch work. It had an internal wiring short, but the clutch itself was fine. I got that fixed, and now the AC compressor will engage and it works. So that'll be in a future video. I'll show repairing that and getting the main unit on the roof working. So while we're going down the road, we don't have to run mini split systems or something like that and try to get generators running. I can just run the system that's already there and stay nice and cool on a hot day. So here is the huge Thermo King compressor. It is giant. The clutch on it itself, just the clutch, is bigger than most compressors for cars. You can see it has a separate alternator to add extra boost to run that big giant system. This is a V4, just like a V8 engine, a V6 engine. This thing is a V4, guys. There's 2 on this side and 2 on that side. It's a little miniature V engine. Well, it's not an engine, actually. It's a compressor. But here's the wire that comes out of the clutch. I was able to repair it. I just need to run that back into the safety switches, and then I can start diving in and making the rest of the system work, which is very exciting as well. So I'm very happy about that. So our ECM is up and running, 300 horsepower, 650 torque, cruise control enabled. A lot of great things going on there. Right here is our ECM. It's like a little black box with connectors sticking out of it. You can see it there. Really kind of easy to get to. It wasn't too bad. So let's head on up to the driver's seat. So I'm going to turn it on up here at the driver's seat, and one thing you're going to see on this transmission selection box here, before it would start up and say the number 5, indicating that it had 5 speeds. The transmission, which is a B300R Allison, has always had 6 speeds. It just wasn't enabled in the software. They didn't need 6 speeds to cruise around a city all the time. So I'm going to turn it on and I'll put it into drive, and you'll see it's number 6, indicating 6 gears available. I do apologize for the loud squealing noise. That's just the warning buzzers for the air pressure. There we go. So that's really cool. I now have 6 speeds, a lot more power, and cruise control enabled. That's amazing. I'm very happy about that. Obviously it's kind of dark right here. We're still working on getting the lighting replaced in here, but we have made some updates in a brighter area. Let's go take a look at the bedroom. No, not that kind of a bedroom scene. We don't do that on Car Wizard's channel. But there's been some great updates in here. On either side, we have purchased what was a futon bed, and we disassembled it using just the panels to use them as framework. So you can see we have welded this to what was the leftovers of the original bus seating system, this framework that's down here. We bolted it back in place, and then I used just brackets that I made and welded this frame, or actually I should say a panel of a futon bed, in place. And it's very, very sturdy, very strong. I've laid on it, it doesn't move 1 inch. So this will give us the basic framework. We can build a wood frame, kind of a box around it that'll have storage and everything, and the mattresses will go here and here. But at least now we have this located to know where the beds are going to be, and they have a very strong structure for the mattresses to lay on. You can see this side as well. As you can see underneath the little framework I've made, there'll be area for storage in between the 2 frame pieces. And also back in here will be a large area where it could be stored pillows or blankets or whatever we want to put under there. I'll put some carpet in here and make it all nice so it's not ugly framework and make it look presentable.
Wizard, you said this wasn't a bedroom scene.
No, we're not doing that. I'm just laying on here to show that it holds my big butt on here. But anyways, you probably saw some tape on the ground around here showing that this would be where the beds go, and there's a lot more tape that Mrs. Wizard is going to show you guys, the layout and the plans for the rest of the bus. Let's head on over and see what's going on there.
Hey ladies and gents, it's been a long time since we've been on camera together. Sorry about that. It's been busy this year. Between school and trying to film for the shop, there's not a lot of me left at the end of the day, so there's not a lot of time to plan and get things ready for the bus. But I do have some good ideas, and when we first had the bus, I did draw up plans. I have ideas, got things laid out, got it all kind of measured in, and I used a little bit of tape. This used to be full. But let's take a peek down at the floor. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the camera from Wizard, and let's talk about what all I've got planned down here. So as we look here, let's go back to the bedroom real quick. You'll see that I've put some tape there, and that means I'm going to put a wall in front of that. The lines that come out from it, there's going to be a door coming from there. And so there'll be 2 doors that meet in that middle section there. Not so sure what to do in that back section. May have a door, may not. I'm not sure. Some of this, it's kind of hard to figure out what we're going to do with just tape. But nonetheless, We did put some of our stripper poles back in, but that's more or less to keep some structure in the bus. And so we put this panel back in. We're going to use that for some of the infrastructure that we'll be able to put some of the panels that we're hoping to purchase in. You can see there's a tape line there, and that'll go right next to here and be able to connect to that panel as well. Also foreseeing leaving the top basically open. Since the massive air conditioning system is up here, probably want to keep them open to the top, let better air flow through. As we go down, you'll see that, hey, we've got more tape lines. And as we go down, let me show, hey, we've got a different toilet there. Wizard did not think that went through as well as we hoped. You'll see that we've switched to a cassette toilet. I think that might be better. And that comes with a little cart that pulls out. And when it pulls out, we'll be able to pull it out, put the ramp going out, and run it straight out of the bus. That little line there, that's going to be where we have a door and actually a little access panel there as well. The tape lines is going to be a cabinet. Since there's no storage on this bus at all, most RVs come with planned storage, and this is where that planned storage is going to be. So you can kind of see there'll be walls going up, and those horizontal lines will be shelves between. The bottom section will also have a space open in the back that can hold for water going to the toilet and behind the refrigerator, which I've already got placed in spot. As we move over, you'll see that I put another wall on the other side of the refrigerator and got two more walls going here with that horizontal line again. That's the top one. The bottom one is holding, it's not tape. It looks like tape color, but it's really not. That is just, piping to run wiring through the bus. But that other upper horizontal line, that's going to be a shelf. And so there'll be two spaces for our storage within the kitchen space. There is also a horizontal line going along the bottom of that window because that's how high the cabinets will be. Don't want to block any of the view from the windows. Plus, we don't want to actually put any pressure on the actual window itself for breakage purposes. What do we do with those wheel wells? Well, here's my plan. I'm going to build up a wall all the way up, box it in, create storage space in this weird space between here and here, and have it open from here to here as well. Put our table to where it can pivot up. And so it will pivot and be level with the countertop. And that, with that pivoting right there, will actually open up, and that's what's going to be the door for the small storage area that will be there. What we'll put there, don't have a clue. Then, what do we do at this side? Well, on this side, I'm going to keep it simple. That's the chair. That's where we're going to sit for eating our meals. Didn't want to put any table space on the floor. You know how RVs are, you have that pipe and you put it into the hole and then you trip over it. Obviously we have zero clearance underneath, so we can't put anything underneath the surface and you can't access it. It's not like we can jack this bus up and do much underneath. The lifts are not rated for this size of bus. So that's going to be cushioned and cleaned up and coated with something. Not going to leave it the marbly plastic vinyl that it is now. But let's move up. Here's where I get to sit. This is my throne. Well, it will be someday. And you'll see I've got tape lines there. They'll have storage underneath. It'll build up just a little bit so it'll be level with the risers there on the actual structure, connecting to the wheel well. Up here, can't block this, but I'm like, gosh, that's gonna be a short step if not. So my thought here is I'll build a little small bit of a frame, have a board that goes across the top, that if you need to access what's in that panel, all you have to do is remove the board, which is basically just used where I can wash my feet, but it will also then you can access the panel. So in theory, it should be worked out pretty easily. Last place we have is over here. And this lovely tape box is where we're going to build a sofa. It's basically going to be just a big box with a divider in the center because it's awfully too long and you've got to have it divided just for structure support after all. Then I will find a cushion to go on top of that. Notice it will be the same height as our dining area over there. And the back wall, that is one of the few places that we are going to have to clean the carpet or do something different with the carpet. Much of it, like in the kitchen, all of that is covered. We don't have to, I'm not going to worry about this because it's all covered up with, or behind cabinet space. We're never going to touch that. But on this side, that's another story. I'm going to have to figure out what to do with that carpet. So that may be one of the places where I do rip it out because it is kind of gross. But underneath that box, be more storage. You can see I've got more lines denoting some door spaces in there as well. Can't do too much covering up because of the access panel to the ramp manual release box. So we need to make sure we can still access that, and might make it to where the boards that go on the top, at least of that section, we can make those screwed down, and if he needs to access them, we can unscrew them as well. But part of the reason that we're following this structure is notice that we can also access some of the in-floor structures that we can, put those anchor points in, easy as can be. Okay, so ladies and gents, that's what I've done in here. So I've got a lot of plans made, and a lot of it was put on hold for that toilet, because after we figured out where that's going to fit, how that's going to be, that left me with where I can put everything else next to it. I did have ideas and plans all along, but it was just a matter of I don't want to buy anything and get it fit. Oh, we got to tear it apart. So this is as close as I'm going to get to doing a cardboard layout. I think the tape should get everything lined up pretty well. We've got plans to purchase kind of a fiber board, not that kind of fiber board, not talking particle board, I'm talking like the plastic divider boards that you get in a bathroom. Because if you think of an RV, we're not doing studs and walls. It needs to be all one piece, not separated with 2x4s. So we're planning on that, and there's not too many walls to create. There'll be the one on the wall by the bathroom, and then the one that will create the cabinet, which will create a box space, which will be nice and sturdy, but also creates that second wall to the bathroom. The rest of this is not really structural. It's just going to be setting in place. And looking at how well they designed our vintage 68 Aristocrat lowliner that we just sold, I paid attention to how that was structured, and it's managed to last 60 years and did a really good job with its design in 1x2s and pine wood. So I'm thinking we've got some good plans going, just now need to get the time to do it. Wizard has one more thing that we got to look at outside. Let's go take a peek.
This has got to be the heaviest battery I've ever messed with in my life. It is an 8D series battery, and I think they weigh like 70 or 80 pounds, maybe 100. It really tweaked my back getting this thing out of here. It was super heavy. So this is where the starting battery is on this bus. And it's actually on a tray. So it makes it where it's serviceable, easy to work on. I got the new die-hard battery installed, and everything is working very well that way. I'm going to leave this alone as far as the starting battery. I'm not going to make this the house battery or the coach battery. This will only be used to start the engine. That's it. That way, the other batteries, which are going to be lithium that I'm going to use for the lights and things in the coach, if that were to get drained and completely dead, at least we'll still be able to start the engine. This engine takes a lot of cranking power to get it to turn over. Even if we're towing a small little car behind us, like a Geo Metro or something, it probably won't have enough power to crank this thing over for jump starting. So this battery needs to be left alone and preserved. The only thing that should draw from it is just accessories to run the engine and start the engine, and that's pretty much it. So that's all done. And it has this little bracket that you put into place, 2 little pinholes that keeps the tray from moving around while you're driving. So there has been kind of a waiting game to get to the next video. You guys have been asking for videos on this bus for a while. We were looking for the right setup to do our beds, and finally this futon, kind of a fold-out bed, came up for sale, and it was the perfect thing to take apart and use to actually make the framework for our beds. We found that on Marketplace for 60 bucks, and that's relatively cheap. We couldn't even buy the materials to make our own framework. It saved a lot of time of constructing each individual little rail and each little piece. We just put the whole thing down and welded it into place. That saved a lot of time. We will build a wooden structure around that and plywood on top of it so it's nice and strong. It'll be just like on the Trojan yacht that we had. That was actually, we have sold now. You guys have asked about that. It is sold. It is gone. We just don't go down there enough. We're too busy doing other things. So no more yachts. We don't have one anymore, but we have this now. So now we're going to move forward into the next phase, which I'm going to do the lighting inside the bus. And Mrs. Wizard's going to start looking into framework and cabinets and things of that nature. If you're curious what kind of tools we use to work on this bus, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button, because in the new year there'll be many more cool videos for you guys to watch. Thanks for watching.